Part 1, February 19th, 2026, and the crown fires back in a way nobody saw coming. Buckingham Palace released a rare, razor-sharp statement that ripped through headlines worldwide. The message was crystal clear. No member of the British royal family, past or present, can be used for commercial gain without the direct approval of the sovereign. Any marital deal that even hints at turning the monarchy into a money machine will be reviewed, challenged, and publicly shut down. That wasn't just protocol. That was a warning shot. Behind the calm, polished palace wording was something far more personal. Insiders now confirm that Princess Anne and Lady Louise Windsor quietly led a private review into the marriage agreement between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And at the center of it all, a clause insiders allegedly refer to as Page 14, Clause 7. That single section is now at the heart of the storm. So what's inside Clause 7? According to sources who claim access under what's described as royal emergency privilege, the provision allegedly grants Meghan full intellectual property control over Harry's personal story. From books and interviews to documentaries and scripted portrayals, reports suggest Harry cannot publicly share details about his own life without written approval. And the detail-raising eyebrows? It's said he signed the agreement without independent legal guidance. If accurate, that changes everything. Earlier this month, Princess Anne reportedly brought these findings to King Charles III and Prince William during a closed-door meeting at Clarence House. Insiders describe her tone as steady but firm. One source allegedly summed it up like this: "This wasn't just a marriage agreement, it was structured control." That line alone sent shockwaves through royal watchers. As one palace insider dramatically put it, she doesn't just control the home, she controls the history and the silence. Meanwhile, Lady Louise, now seen by some as a steady rising presence within royal circles, reportedly gave her own blunt take. According to those familiar with the discussion, Meghan's business ventures weren't built around products alone. They were deeply tied to Harry's public identity, his past struggles, his royal status, and his lived experiences. And what made this revelation even more explosive? Critics quickly resurfaced conversations about Meghan's highly publicized 2013 split from Hollywood producer Trevor Engelson, drawing comparisons that only intensified the debate. Back in 2013, when Meghan Markle ended her marriage to Trevor Engelson, court watchers said she moved with laser focus. She reportedly hired elite attorneys, cut financial ties fast, and walked away with zero loose ends. Observers described her strategy as precise, unsentimental, surgical. No chaos, no public meltdown, just a clean exit executed with sharp timing. But this time, with Prince Harry, the stakes were on a whole different level. Royal status, global contracts, billion-dollar branding. This wasn't just a private split. This was international business. And according to palace sources, familiar patterns started showing up again. Documents allegedly reviewed by royal legal advisors claim Meghan reconnected with Sunshine Sachs, a powerhouse PR firm known for handling high-profile celebrity separations. This is the same firm widely credited with helping Katie Holmes navigate her quiet split from Tom Cruise and shaping public perception during Angelina Jolie's legal battle with Brad Pitt. Insiders in media circles call it exit engineering, not just ending a marriage, but owning the narrative that follows. Princess Anne reportedly summed it up bluntly. It's not just reputation management, it's premeditated narrative warfare. That wording raised serious eyebrows. Then came the allegation that really shook royal insiders. According to claims attributed to Lady Louise Windsor, there are reports suggesting that deeply personal footage of Harry, moments filmed during the couple's projects with Netflix, may not have been captured solely to amplify his voice. Critics speculate it could potentially serve as documentation if legal disputes ever surfaced. That claim alone sent shockwaves through royal watchers. Attention quickly shifted to the Sussex's 2021 deal with Netflix, specifically a reported clause referred to as couple alignment and public harmony. Sources allege it allows personal conflicts to be framed through pre-approved explanations, such as incompatible values or emotional strain, phrases that mirror long-standing tabloid storylines about Harry. As one insider allegedly put it, this isn't just message control. This is turning personal history into leverage. With Clause 7 now under scrutiny, the Crown has reportedly shifted from quiet concern to strategic containment. A confidential memo, said to be circulated among royal legal advisors, outlines potential financial risks Harry could face if divorce proceedings were ever initiated, including questions surrounding the Montecito estate and whether it qualifies as shared marital property. And just like that, what looked like private tension now feels like high-stakes chess on a global board. Palace insiders claim the risks for Prince Harry were far bigger than anyone realized. Reports suggest he could forfeit his stake in Archewell, which sources allege is structured primarily under Meghan Markle's control. There are also claims he could face serious limitations regarding parental influence due to geographic distance, along with a total publishing block on any material tied to his royal past. Some insiders even whisper about possible complications involving Windsor inheritance frameworks if title associations remain unchanged. And because of the now infamous Clause 7, critics argue Harry might not even be free to publicly defend himself without prior approval. That detail alone has people stunned. While the public saw polished photo ops, red carpets, and podcast launches, Princess Anne and Lady Louise Windsor were reportedly doing something very different behind the scenes. According to royal sources, they were tracking financial filings, business shifts, and corporate restructures starting in 2022. What they allegedly uncovered wasn't random business growth. It was described as strategic positioning. One insider framed it like this: "This wasn't evolution, it was preparation," or that wording hit hard. By late January 2026, Lady Louise is said to have submitted a detailed audit to the Privy Council outlining what she viewed as a transformation, from Duchess within a joint brand to independent operator. Reports claim that by the end of 2022, Meghan had legally separated her name, revenue channels, and brand holdings from joint structures previously associated with Harry. The shift appeared methodical, step by step. Take American Riviera Orchard. Launched in April 2023, filings show the lifestyle venture was registered through a Delaware-based LLC with no public co-ownership listed. Trademark records in the United States, the UAE, and Singapore reportedly contained no shared authorship or royal branding references. Then came the September 2023 podcast agreement, which named Meghan as sole creative lead and intellectual property holder. Even more striking, insiders claim Archewell's July 2023 internal restructuring allegedly removed Harry from certain financial access logs, with content approvals rerouted through Meghan's legal representatives. By December 2023, Princess Anne reportedly described the situation in stark terms. According to one palace source, Harry had become a silent figure in a brand built around his identity. And if these claims hold weight, that realization may have landed far later than anyone expected. The most unsettling revelation reportedly came from a clause tucked deep inside the Sussex's 2020 deal with Netflix. Labeled Clause 11C, Narrative Rights Transfer Upon Dissolution, the addendum allegedly states that in the event of a marital split, all jointly produced content would be reviewed by the lead content manager. And according to insiders, that role points directly to Meghan Markle. Reports claim Prince Harry would waive retrospective editorial rights unless explicitly granted in writing. In plain language, if a separation happened, Meghan would allegedly decide what stays public and what quietly disappears. That clause alone has critics raising serious questions. Lady Louise Windsor reportedly mapped out a detailed timeline that palace insiders describe as surgical. January 2022, Meghan incorporates Sapphire Crescent Holdings, a company later linked in reports to international licensing ventures. March 2022, Archewell's payroll structure is adjusted under legal supervision, and according to filings reviewed by royal advisors, Harry's administrative role appears reduced. June 2022, Meghan transitions to separate PR representation for solo engagements, with press materials referring to her independently. October 2022, trademark filings connected to a potential TIG relaunch list Meghan as sole applicant. Each move, step by step, seemed calculated. By February 2023, reports indicate Meghan purchased millions in jewelry and inventory, categorized internally as founder assets under the American Riviera Orchard label. Then in August 2023, Her media team allegedly pitched a solo feature to Vanity Fair under the working title, The Post-Royal Renaissance. According to Louise's reported briefing to the Privy Council, this wasn't impulsive, it was structured. That phrasing carried weight inside palace walls. Despite California's community property framework, which generally divides marital earnings equally, insiders claim front-loaded legal provisions were embedded early on. These clauses allegedly classified brand holdings under Meghan's LLCs as pre-joint revenue, with trademarks and copyrights secured before shared profit distribution began. Official communications were also reportedly routed through separate legal entities rather than shared Sussex channels. If accurate, that suggests careful legal groundwork was laid long before any public tension surfaced, and that realization has changed the entire tone of the conversation. Princess Anne reportedly described it as the business equivalent of a controlled detonation. Not chaos, not panic, precision. Insiders claim what looked polite on the surface was actually legal warfare wrapped in courtesy. Behind every polished PR smile, every glossy trailer, every carefully timed appearance, palace officials allegedly believed something strategic was unfolding. And back in Britain, the tone was shifting fast. On January 12, 2026, a sealed legal advisory was reportedly delivered to Prince Harry. According to sources familiar with the memo, the warning was blunt. His current marital agreement could place his financial holdings, narrative rights, and even potential parental claims at risk. Immediate legal restructuring was strongly advised before any public separation discussion. That's not gossip, that's protocol kicking in. A preliminary audit, said to be under final review by the Royal Treasury, allegedly painted a troubling picture. Reports suggest Harry holds no ownership stake in certain residual media assets connected to Archewell. He is also believed to face contractual limitations on publishing new memoir-style content without approval from Meghan Markle's legal representatives. The Montecito estate, financed through joint arrangements, could potentially be classified as shared marital property under California law. That detail alone carries weight. As for parental leverage, insiders claim the situation is complicated due to residency factors and extended travel schedules. One remark attributed to Lady Louise Windsor reportedly cut deep. He would be left with his title and his past experiences, nothing more, whether dramatic or factual. That line has been circulating widely among royal watchers. What began as a quiet review of a single contractual clause has now reportedly exposed a much larger structural imbalance, financial, personal, and narrative. And by mid-February 2026, one phrase was echoing through palace corridors and media studios alike. Page 14. Clause 7, originally assumed to be standard language within the couple's 2018 prenuptial agreement. The full scope of Clause 7 allegedly went unnoticed until Lady Louise conducted a detailed audit, cross-referencing the wording with California intellectual property law. And once that comparison was made, insiders say everything changed. What Lady Louise Windsor reportedly uncovered left the entire legal board stunned. According to sources familiar with the audit, Clause 7 allegedly grants Meghan Markle sweeping intellectual property rights over narrative material connected to Prince Harry's personal life. That includes memoirs, interviews, unpublished writings, dramatizations, children's books, and even fictionalized adaptations inspired by his royal experiences. The scope wasn't narrow, it was expansive. In simple terms, critics argue Harry would be unable to publish, license, or publicly reinterpret his own life story without written authorization. Louise allegedly told the Crown's legal board, "This wasn't a safeguard, it was a muzzle." That line reportedly shifted the mood in the room instantly. Even more surprising, insiders point to the timing. The clause was reportedly embedded in June 2020, just months after the couple stepped back from senior royal duties and launched their Archewell Foundation. At a time when Harry was navigating major life transitions and intense public scrutiny, Meghan is said to have secured unusually broad editorial authority within the agreement. Observers call that timing significant. The wording of the clause, according to those who reviewed it, was strikingly clinical. All present and future narrative content, public persona depictions, and emotional recollections related to the signatory, HRH, Prince Henry Charles Albert David, shall require approval by Party A prior to publication or broadcast. Legal experts note that language like this is rarely seen in royal-adjacent marriages. Louise's team also reportedly examined corporate filings tied to Archewell. While publicly presented as a collaborative venture, documents filed in Delaware allegedly show a managerial framework granting Meghan primary voting control over certain content partnerships and distribution rights. In the event of marital conflict, default authority would reportedly rest with the managing member. That detail raised eyebrows fast when Princess Anne was briefed privately. One insider claims she responded bluntly, "This isn't a marriage, it's a licensing agreement." The implications didn't stop there. Reports suggest that Harry's 2023 memoir, Spare, went through formal legal approval channels before publication. If accurate, that would mean even his most personal reflections were subject to structured oversight. And that realization has only intensified the debate. Sources claim several sections of Spare were revised or removed after internal narrative cohesion reviews conducted by Meghan Markle's team. And according to palace insiders, if Prince Harry ever wanted to publish a follow-up, he reportedly couldn't move forward without her written approval. That's when some aides allegedly began whispering a harsh phrase, that Harry had become a hostage to his own memories. The wording was dramatic, but it captured the growing tension. Legal analysts reviewing Clause 7 have pointed out that its language allegedly stretches beyond current projects and extends into future portrayals. That means hypothetical documentaries about his military service, podcast appearances discussing personal struggles, or even participation in mental health campaigns referencing his upbringing could require prior clearance. Even children's stories loosely inspired by royal life might fall under review. If accurate, that level of control is rare. One BBC legal commentator reportedly described it as the most comprehensive narrative capture clause ever seen in a celebrity or aristocratic marriage. In simple terms, critics argue Meghan would hold the rights to his past, and any future commercial version of it, almost like intellectual property placed in escrow. That framing sparked global debate fast. There were also reports of confusion behind the scenes at Netflix. Alleged internal communications from production partners referenced uncertainty about narrative boundaries tied to the Sussex agreement. One executive was quoted as saying, "He's the story, and yet he can't tell it." That line quickly made rounds in media circles. Further scrutiny reportedly uncovered Clause 11TN in the 2020 Netflix deal, narrative rights transfer upon dissolution. According to insiders, it confirms that Meghan would retain post-separation editorial authority over jointly produced material. And this wasn't limited to polished documentaries. Reports suggest it included interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, unreleased visuals, and home recordings. By that stage, according to Lady Louise's alleged remarks to the Sovereign Media Council, the concern had escalated beyond branding. "We aren't just facing a narrative issue," she reportedly stated, and with that, the tone inside palace walls shifted once again. As one senior insider reportedly put it, "We were witnessing a commercial weaponization of royal history." That phrase spread fast through palace corridors. The response from King Charles III was said to be immediate. By February 12th, all pending royal collaborations involving Prince Harry were allegedly paused. A broad embargo was placed on third-party content that could spark narrative disputes under Clause 7. The message? Contain the fallout before it spirals. Behind closed doors, aides near Clarence House claimed Harry requested a private review of every agreement he had signed since 2020. According to one royal secretary, what he discovered left him completely hollowed out. If those accounts are accurate, the realization hit hard. The rights to his own story were no longer fully in his hands. That's a heavy moment for anyone. Meanwhile, attention shifted to the Montecito estate. Once promoted as the symbol of Sussex independence, it reportedly became ground zero for mounting financial pressure. On February 13th, foreclosure filings were said to have appeared in Santa Barbara County records. At the center of the issue, reports of a $9.4 million bridge loan allegedly issued through a Delaware-based entity tied to international investors. The terms were steep, high interest, short maturity, and no grace buffer. Sources claim a January 31st payment was missed, triggering escalation. Insiders say Meghan Markle attempted to renegotiate through a boutique Manhattan lender, but discussions reportedly fell apart after financial reviews. Auditors examining Archewell's books allegedly flagged irregular classifications of expenses, including PR and security costs labeled under broader awareness initiatives. That scrutiny, according to sources, caused confidence to dip quickly. Soon after, Archewell's podcast division was quietly shut down. A source within Netflix allegedly leaked that a planned follow-up docuseries had been shelved due to performance concerns and what was described internally as reputational drag. What began as a contractual clause dispute had now snowballed into financial, legal, and branding turbulence, and the pressure was closing in from every side. Just like that, their reported $40 million content pipeline was gone, wiped out in what insiders say were two blunt corporate phrases: brand underperformance and legal volatility exposure. One minute the deals were glowing, the next minute they were dust. The unraveling wasn't speculation anymore. It was happening in real time. Sources claim lifestyle adjustments followed quickly. The children were reportedly withdrawn from a private Brentwood academy and enrolled in a more modest Montessori program. Meghan's public wardrobe shifted toward understated, recycled pieces. Appearances became rare, then silence. Her once hyperactive PR machine suddenly went quiet, and that silence spoke loud. Then came another twist. A leak from Clarence House suggested Prince Harry reached out to Prince Edward, not as a royal figure, but as a brother looking for perspective. Insiders say he sounded shaken, searching for legal footing that hadn't already been contractually tied up. During one private call, a palace source claims Harry asked, "Do my children even count as Windsors anymore?" That question hit heavy. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle released a carefully styled video from Montecito. The setting was soft and curated: ivory tones, candlelight, gentle piano. She spoke about truth, resilience, and a woman's voice being erased. But the timing, just hours after foreclosure documents reportedly surfaced, raised eyebrows across social media. Within hours, #NarrativeHostage began trending worldwide. Major U.S. networks started pressing harder. Commentators openly asked whether Harry had become a supporting character in a pre-structured media storyline. Was his life packaged like episodic content? Those questions gained traction fast. Back in Britain, royal officials reportedly shifted from observation to action. On February 14, Catherine, Princess of Wales, who had remained publicly silent on the Sussex situation, made a deliberate appearance at a children's welfare event in West London. No commentary, no drama, just presence. And that move, it spoke volumes without saying a word. On February 14th, Catherine, Princess of Wales, stepped out in a navy coat, wearing a delicate rose gold brooch shaped like a shield. Royal watchers quickly pointed out that the emblem was new, reportedly tied to a recently invoked Windsor child protection protocol aimed at preventing unauthorized commercial use of royal minors in media. The symbolism was subtle, but it was loud at the same time. When asked about the escalating situation, Catherine responded calmly, "Every child deserves a life free from exploitation. The Crown stands ready to protect that right wherever it's challenged." The statement was brief, but it landed like a hammer. That wasn't just personal opinion. It sounded like policy. That same evening, observers noticed a quiet update on the official Royal UK genealogy registry. The names Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana were no longer publicly displayed under their previous Sussex designation. In place of the listing appeared a formal notation referencing sovereign administrative revision under Code R24-6. No press release, no ceremony, just a digital shift that spoke volumes. Inside Buckingham Palace, sources claim King Charles III met privately with Princess Anne and Prince William. According to insiders, their conclusion was firm. Clause 7 raised constitutional concerns and would not go unexamined. The monarchy, they believed, had a duty to safeguard institutional integrity. By 7 a.m. on February 15, 2026, the response reportedly escalated. The Crown Archive Office enacted what sources describe as a rarely used emergency measure involving biometric vaulting of unreleased visual and audio material connected to the Sussex children. This reportedly included official portraits, archived recordings, and licensed media footage stored within royal systems. The move, insiders say, wasn't about retaliation. It was about control, preservation, and future-proofing the monarchy's legacy. What began as contractual scrutiny had now evolved into a full institutional defense strategy, calculated, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. The stated objective, according to palace officials, was clear: prevent identity exploitation in future AI systems, merchandising, or dramatized content tied to royal minors. Behind the scenes, King Charles III reportedly referenced Appendix 5 of the marriage settlement, a provision titled Contingent Custodial Jurisdiction, and that's where things reportedly took a serious turn. Insiders claim the review confirmed long-standing administrative inconsistencies. According to palace sources, Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana's documentation allegedly contained gaps, missing biometric confirmations, inconsistent travel filings, and incomplete registry updates. Those discrepancies, officials argue, made it procedurally difficult for the Crown to formally classify them under traditional royal guardianship protections. That detail raised eyebrows across legal circles. The Lord Chamberlain's office moved quickly. A formal addendum to the February 7th derecognition order was issued, stating, Archibald Harrison and Lilibet Diana shall no longer be associated with privileges, protections, or ceremonial references attached to the British Crown. This action is permanent and enacted in accordance with national interest, ethical integrity, and sovereign legacy protection. No dramatic speech, just structured legal language that carried weight. From that point forward, all commemorative licensing tied to the children, porcelain collections, illustrated books, archival imagery, and digital assets was reportedly revoked. Trademark compliance notices were sent to U.S. retailers instructing them to pause Sussex-linked merchandise referencing royal birth designations. Even AI training datasets flagged with biometric matches were allegedly placed under private legal monitoring. The Crown, according to insiders, had constructed a firewall around its institutional future. Meanwhile, over in Montecito, the atmosphere reportedly shifted. Meghan Markle's residence went quiet. Her longtime PR firm, Sunshine Sachs, issued no public statements. Archewell's website remained unchanged. The only visible move, Meghan canceled a scheduled Zoom appearance at a global wellness summit, citing unexpected scheduling conflicts. Back in London, Princess Anne, Prince William, and Lady Louise Windsor reportedly convened an emergency session with the Sovereign Legal Advisory Board. What started as contract scrutiny had now evolved into a full institutional recalibration, strategic, measured, and unmistakably firm. The official reasoning, according to palace insiders, was to prevent identity exploitation in future AI systems, merchandising pipelines, and dramatized productions. King Charles III reportedly referenced Appendix 5 of the marriage settlement, a provision titled Contingent Custodial Jurisdiction, and that clause, sources say, confirmed suspicions that had been quietly building for months. Insiders claim that during the internal review, inconsistencies surfaced in the administrative registration process. Reports allege missing biometric confirmations, irregular travel documentation, and incomplete filings within official Windsor genealogical records. Under royal guardianship law, such gaps would make formal classification as protected heirs procedurally complex. That detail alone shifted the conversation from rumor to regulation. The Lord Chamberlain's office responded with speed. A formal addendum to the February 7th order was issued, stating, Archibald Harrison and Lilibet Diana shall no longer be associated with privileges, protections, or ceremonial references attached to the British Crown. This action is permanent and enacted in accordance with national interest, ethical integrity, and sovereign legacy protection. No press conference, no dramatic speech, just legal precision. From that moment forward, licensing tied to commemorative materials, porcelain collections, illustrated books, archival prints, and digital merchandise was reportedly revoked. U.S. retailers were notified to halt Sussex-linked items referencing royal birth titles. Even AI datasets flagged with biometric identifiers were allegedly added to a restricted monitoring list. The Crown, according to insiders, had constructed a digital and legal firewall around its institutional future. Across the Atlantic, the mood in Montecito reportedly shifted. Meghan Markle's residence went unusually quiet. Her longtime PR firm, Sunshine Sachs, released no public comment. Archewell's website remained unchanged. The only Windsor convened an emergency session with Lady Louise Windsor. Windsor convened an emergency session with the Sovereign Legal Advisory Board. What began as contract analysis had now escalated into a full-scale institutional safeguard, calculated, controlled, and impossible to ignore. By mid-February, palace officials reportedly drafted a formal declaration stating that any post-marital commercial amendment involving Prince Harry that conflicted with Crown continuity principles would be deemed incompatible with institutional recognition. The statement, endorsed by Princess Anne and Prince William, made one thing crystal clear: any platform, private venture, or media deal attempting to monetize Harry's royal name, likeness, or historical experience without sovereign review would carry no Crown acknowledgement. That was not subtle. That was direct. Monarchies rarely issue language that explicit, but insiders say Clause 7 had crossed into dangerous territory, and patience inside palace walls was running thin. That same evening, behind closed doors at Clarence House, a high-level strategy meeting reportedly unfolded. King Charles III, Princess Anne, Prince William, and Prince Edward gathered around a dossier labeled Clause 7, Exploitation Risk and Institutional Containment. The tone was serious. Inside that file, according to palace sources, were detailed timelines of Meghan Markle's intellectual property filings, trademark registrations, and corporate structuring connected to Archewell. Forensic reviews allegedly highlighted voting control shifts and communication records suggesting Harry's gradual removal from certain operational loops. Analysts also examined public crisis strategies associated with Sunshine Sachs, noting patterns in narrative positioning. The documentation was thick, and the implications heavy. Princess Anne reportedly spoke bluntly. "This isn't just a family matter. It's institutional dignity." William followed with his own pointed remark. "She doesn't just control the edit, she controls the silence. And that ends today." Those quotes, if accurately reported, captured the mood in the room. The final trigger allegedly came from Palace Legal Counsel. Internal findings suggested Clause 7 extended beyond past memoirs and interviews, reaching into hypothetical future portrayals, including reflections on royal tradition, family grief, public service, and even fictional adaptations inspired by lineage. That scope raised constitutional questions fast. By 11 p.m., a draft counterclause was reportedly circulated. Its goal: assert sovereign override on any commercial content derived from royal experience or institutional duty. What started as contractual language had now escalated into a direct institutional standoff. Controlled, strategic, and unmistakably firm. By February 17th, the message was clear. The monarchy was reclaiming its voice, and by extension, reclaiming control over how Prince Harry's royal history could be used. The official Royal UK media page was quietly updated with new institutional guidelines. Any Sussex-originated content referencing royal ceremonies, residences, or family legacy would now carry a formal disclaimer stating it was unaffiliated with the Crown. Commercial use? Unauthorized unless reviewed. That shift was not cosmetic, it was strategic. A formal notice asserting institutional narrative ownership followed, reinforcing the monarchy's exclusive rights over ceremonial archives, insignias, and service-based history. The global press reacted fast. One major U.S. outlet ran the headline, "The monarchy rewrites the script." The implication? Harry may not fully control the story anymore, but neither does Meghan Markle. That framing shook media circles. Even Netflix reportedly made rapid adjustments. Descriptions of the Harry and Meghan series were updated to state, based on independently submitted materials. Internal metadata tags referencing Crown affiliation were allegedly removed. Spotify paused the redistribution of certain archetypes' promotional clips. Amazon quietly delisted a rumored pre-release memoir titled The Spare's Crown, which insiders had speculated was linked to a companion narrative project. The digital landscape shifted almost overnight. In California, Meghan's media presence went silent. No statements, no posts. According to regional sources, several staff members were reassigned internally. Sunshine Sachs offered no public comment. The quiet was loud. Back in Britain, momentum was building. Reports claim Harry had temporarily relocated to Windsor and was receiving briefings from a private legal advisory team led by Lady Louise Windsor. One aide described his demeanor as solemn, steady, and unexpectedly clear-headed. During a February 18th debrief, Harry allegedly told Princess Anne, "I signed to protect her, but I never thought I'd need protection from what I signed." Anne reportedly responded without hesitation, "Then let this be the chapter where you take your name back." And at 5:30 p.m. that day, insiders say the next institutional move was already in motion. Then came the final and irreversible move. A brand new page appeared on the official royal family website. The statement was bold, unmistakable. The Crown does not recognize any personal contract that attempts to silence royal lineage. The Windsor legacy shall not be licensed. It shall be lived. No extra commentary, no explanation. Just a line drawn in digital stone. Media outlets reacted instantly. One UK paper described it as the most refined institutional rebuttal in modern royal memory. Sky News aired a segment titled "From Silence to Sovereignty, Harry's Narrative Returns." Online, hashtags surged worldwide. Hashtag Clause 7 voided. Hashtag Take Back the Story. Hashtag Windsor Firewall. The momentum was undeniable. And then came the image that sealed the moment. On the morning of February 18th, Catherine, Princess of Wales, stood outside a children's advocacy center, holding the hands of Prince George of Wales, Princess Charlotte of Wales, and, in a move that stunned observers, Lilibet, the young girl, dressed in a navy coat with a matching headband, stayed close at Catherine's side. Photographers were instructed to take a single wide shot. No close-ups, no shouted questions. Just one frame. There was no formal press conference. Only a quiet caption posted by the palace. A story does not belong to those who write it. It belongs to those who live it. That line traveled fast. The monarchy didn't respond with chaos. It responded with control, with structure, with sovereignty. Harry, insiders say, was no longer boxed in by narrative constraints. The so-called Windsor firewall had locked into place. And while Meghan may still hold a pen, the institutional page was no longer hers to publish. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts below, like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe for more deep dives. We'll see you in the next one, because when it comes to royal power moves, the story is never truly over.